masturbation isn't the problem, but how you do it might be telling you something deeper. Through years of clinical work and research at the men's clinic at UCLA, Dr. Jesse Mills, one of the leading experts in male sexual health, has uncovered a truth that most people never talk about. Most sexual performance issues don't start in the bedroom. They start in your daily habits, the quiet, unconscious ones you repeat alone. And one of those habits is masturbation. Let me be clear. Masturbation isn't bad. It's not unhealthy. And it's absolutely nothing to be ashamed of. In fact, it can be a positive part of how we explore our bodies, release stress, and reconnect with ourselves. But here's the issue. When masturbation becomes rigid, repetitive, and disconnected from feeling, it stops being a healthy expression of intimacy and starts becoming a pattern that numbs you over time. It can lead to desensitization, performance issues, and a growing disconnection between you and your real life partner. So today, drawing from Dr. Jesse Mills' research and decades of experience treating men of all ages, I want to share with you 5 silent mistakes men often make when masturbating, habits that can slowly wreck your sex life, kill your arousal, and make pleasure feel mechanical. More importantly, I'll show you how to fix them in ways that are simple, practical, and science-backed, because whether you're 18 or 65, you deserve to feel confident in your own skin, connected to your partner, and in control of your pleasure, not a prisoner to it. Stick around till the end. What you learn here might just reset the way you experience your body and your relationships. Mistake 1, the death grip, when too much control kills your sensation. Let's talk about one of the most common and most misunderstood mistakes men make when masturbating. It's something we call the death grip. Sounds dramatic. I know, but this isn't just a catchy term. It's a real problem that's been showing up again and again in men's clinics across the country, including mine. So what is it? The death grip happens when you squeeze your penis too tightly during masturbation. You stroke hard, fast, and often with a level of pressure that no real-life partner could ever recreate. It's not just about force. It's about conditioning your body to respond only to one specific, extreme kind of stimulation. And here's what I see in my practice. At first, it feels great, fast, powerful, intense. But over time, something strange begins to happen. Men start telling me, sex doesn't feel like anything anymore. I can't finish with my partner. Even oral doesn't get me there. It's not that their body is broken. It's that their nervous system has been trained to expect only one kind of input: tight grip, high friction, zero variation. What started as pleasure turns into numbness. And that numbness creates frustration, confusion, even shame, especially in intimate moments. This isn't rare. Dr. Jesse Mills and I have both seen this in countless patients. Young men, middle-aged professionals, even men in long-term relationships. They're not lacking testosterone. They're not emotionally detached. They've just trained their brain to only respond to a very narrow kind of stimulation. So what can you do about it? The answer isn't to stop masturbating. It's to start doing it differently, with more awareness, more variation, and more curiosity. Here's what I recommend. Loosen your grip. Let your hand relax. You're not trying to win a race. You're trying to reconnect with sensation. Slow down. Give your body time to build arousal naturally. Fast doesn't always mean better. Use lubricant. It reduces friction and helps your brain associate touch with softness and subtlety. Switch things up. Try using your non-dominant hand. Explore with different textures. Focus on breathing. Let go of the outcome. This isn't just about climax. It's about presence and retraining your nervous system to feel again. Think of this like physical therapy for your pleasure. You're not fixing something that's broken. You're restoring your range of sensation so that your body and your partner can finally meet in real connection. Mistake 2, same routine. Every time, when your brain gets bored before your body does. Now let's talk about a more subtle, but equally damaging mistake. You may not grip too hard. You may not rush it. But do you always do it the same way? Same position, same time of day, same fantasy, same video. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. This is something I see in a lot of men, especially those who've been watching adult content regularly since their teenage years. The problem isn't that you're masturbating. The problem is that your brain has stopped being curious. When you rely on the same exact stimuli every time, whether it's a specific genre of porn, a particular scenario in your head, or even a certain body type you're fixated on, you're hardwiring arousal into one narrow script. And over time, that script becomes so specific that your brain struggles to respond to anything else. I've had patients say to me, I love my partner, but I just can't get turned on like I do with my favorite videos. Real sex feels underwhelming. It's like my body needs a specific trigger to work. That's not your partner's fault. It's not yours either. It's just the result of repetition without variation. Think of it like food. If you only eat one dish every day, even if it's your favorite, you'll eventually stop tasting it. So how do you reset your arousal? You don't have to give up all stimulation, but you do need to broaden the menu. Try this. Skip the screen for a few days. Let your imagination do the work. Change the mental story. Explore different fantasies. Even better, create one that involves connection, slowness, or something playful. Talk to your partner. Share what arouses you. And explore new triggers together. Switch settings. Try a different space. Change the lighting. Put on music, anything that breaks the autopilot. And most importantly, don't chase intensity. Chase variety. Because real intimacy isn't about stimulation overload. It's about attention to yourself and to the moment. Mistake 3. Skipping lubrication when friction feels normal until it doesn't. Let's talk about something that seems small but makes a big difference. Lubrication, or more accurately, the lack of it. A lot of men, especially those who started masturbating young, have gotten used to doing it dry. No lube, no lotion, just their hand and a rush. At first, that might feel efficient, fast, private, but over time, this no lube routine creates more problems than you realize. Without lubrication, you increase friction, and friction, especially over sensitive skin like the penis, can cause micro tears in the skin, decreased sensitivity, and even the buildup of calloused or desensitized nerve endings. It's like rubbing sandpaper over a silk shirt. Eventually, You stop feeling the softness. Doctor, Jesse Mills often reminds his patients, if you want your body to respond naturally in real sex, then the way you train it alone should reflect that natural environment. In other words, if you're always masturbating in a dry, high friction setting, your nervous system won't adapt well to the warmth and moisture of a real life partner. So, what's the fix? It's simple and honestly kind of enjoyable. Use a good lubricant. Start with a water based lube. It's safe, easy to clean, and gentle on sensitive skin. For longer sessions, try silicone based lubes. They last longer and don't dry out as quickly. Natural alternatives like coconut oil or olive oil can work too. Is just avoid anything with fragrances or harsh chemicals. And definitely skip petroleum jelly or scented lotions. They can irritate the skin or throw off your pH balance. Bonus tip, use lube, even if you think you don't need it. Not because your body isn't working, but because it deserves to feel better. Lubrication isn't just about comfort, it's about teaching your body to expect softness, Liebe, and gentle variation, the same way it would during healthy, satisfying intimacy with a partner. Mistake 4. The quickie habit, when rushing becomes a reflex and you forget how to feel. Let me ask you something personal. When you masturbate, do you rush it? Do you go fast, not because you're excited, but because you're trying to get it over with? You're not alone. This is one of the most common and overlooked habits I see in men, the quickie mindset. And it usually starts early. When you're a teenager, trying not to get caught, hiding in a bathroom, door locked, lights off, anxiety high, and speed becomes your shield. But here's the issue. What began as a response to fear becomes your default pattern for pleasure. So even as adults, even in safe, private spaces, many men carry this unspoken urgency into every solo experience. It's like they've trained their body to believe that pleasure must be fast, secret, even shameful. And over time, that habit causes real consequences. Premature ejaculation, disconnection during intimacy, and the inability to enjoy slow, deep arousal. One patient once told me, I don't even know how to go slow anymore. I feel anxious if I take my time. That's not because his body was the problem. It was the emotional memory baked into his habit. So how do you undo the quickie reflex? Here's what I tell my patients. And what I encourage you to try, create space. Don't treat masturbation like a task. Treat it like a ritual. Something worth giving time to. Slow everything down. From your breathing, to your strokes, to your thoughts. Let arousal rise instead of chasing it. Use touch intentionally. Explore, pause, change pressure. Close your eyes and ask yourself, what actually feels good right now? Let go of the finish line. Don't make orgasm the goal. Let presence be the point. Remember, your nervous system is trainable. If you can teach it to rush, if you can also teach it to slow down, to feel more, and to trust again. Pleasure should never feel like a race against time. It should feel like coming home to your own body without fear. Mistake 5. Carrying guilt when silent shame follows you into every room. This is the one mistake we don't talk about enough. Not in clinics, not in schools, not even in relationships. It's not about technique. It's not about speed or stimulation. It's about how you feel afterward. You finish. But instead of feeling relaxed or connected, you feel a drop in your chest, a flush of shame, a thought like, did I just do something wrong? Sound familiar? This is the emotional hangover. The guilt that quietly follows you even when no one's watching. And let me be clear, you are not broken. That guilt didn't come from your body. It came from everything the world taught you about your body, from early messages that said sex is dirty, that self-pleasure is weak, that desire is something to hide, that your needs should make you feel less of a man. But here's what we know, and what research like that of Dr. Jesse Mills reminds us: guilt doesn't make you stronger. It just makes you quieter and more disconnected from yourself. And over time, that disconnection doesn't just stay in the bedroom. It leaks into your confidence, into your relationships, into how you show up in the world. So how do you let that guilt go? Start here. Acknowledge that it's there. Don't push it down. Name it. You can't change what you deny. Remind yourself, pleasure is not a crime. It's a part of your biology, your identity, your wholeness. Practice self-compassion. Talk to yourself the way you'd talk to someone you love, with understanding, not judgment. Shift the mindset. Masturbation isn't something you sneak. It's something you choose. Intentionally, respectfully, without shame. And remember, masturbation, when done with awareness and care, isn't selfish. It's self-connection. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be free of desire. You just need to know that you are worthy of feeling good without guilt, without apology. If you've made any of these mistakes, you're not alone. Every man I've treated, from high performers to everyday dads, has carried at least one of these habits without realizing it. But the good news, your body is adaptable, your mind is trainable, and your pleasure is yours to reclaim. Let go of the pressure. Let go of the autopilot and take your time with yourself, your partner, your pleasure, your healing, because the goal isn't just better sex. The goal is deeper connection with yourself and with life. You're not broken. You're just waking up to how powerful your body really is. When you finally treat it with care, your body remembers. So teach it gently. So if no one's ever told you this before, let me be the first. You don't need to feel ashamed of what turns you on. You don't need to hide from what your body needs. And you definitely don't need to rush through the moments meant to bring you peace, clarity, and connection. The way you touch yourself teaches your body how to expect love. So teach it with curiosity, teach it with patience, teach it with care. Because the more gently you treat yourself, the more naturally you'll show up in intimacy, in confidence, and in joy. If any part of this resonated with you, take a moment, in silence, or even in the comments, to share what stood out. You might be surprised how many people feel the same way, but never had the words to say it. And if you'd like to go deeper, in our next video, we'll explore how dopamine, overstimulation, and daily habits are silently hijacking male pleasure, and what science is finally saying about reclaiming long-term sexual vitality. Until then, take your time, take a breath, and take care of yourself, because you're worth it.